Hello and welcome everybody to the newest installment in the incredible adventures of the unsinkable Alice Baker, Brushstrokes Part 3. It is still the same day when you went to visit both Pushcart Market of Needful Things and Notalbano Tivolini's paint making business. You have made 2 phone calls, you have informed the police. Who was the second person you called again?
William, and we invited him for dinner.
Yes, and William is still alive, which and answered the phone. So it means he's one of the few people who are not missing. That's good. And you have decided that you want to break into Notalbano Tivolini's shop. No, because Notalbano Tivolini is also gone missing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You have found the book. You have bought the book. The life and times of those great this Italian book of life and times of great sculptors, architects and painters, which Albus Craig had bought and then returned for a full refund to the proprietor of Mr. Wilde, Pushcart Market. And basically, you also are going to ring Ms. Biagiotti because you need somebody to translate the Italian book for you.
Yes.
Because while you understand some bits and pieces of it because of knowing Latin, French, and of course English, reading the whole book and translating it is going to take you ages. Make a luck roll.
Dice. How do they work?
The
one thing I forgot, open her character sheet.
Yeah, that would help.
Roll the dice, which is definitely a big no, because a 93 is definitely not her luck.
So you just get her maid, and she will take a message, and Miss Biagiotti will return the call as soon as she returns from today's errands.
Perfect, thank you.
And you were going to wait until after 8 o'clock before you go into the to break into the shop, because the Sam, the apprentice, who's not being paid and doesn't get anything from being apprenticed to Mr. Tivolini, works until 6 o'clock. And Dottie believes that it makes sense because he may have to clean up, and that if you show up before 8, you know, he might still be there. And also you want it to be dark.
Yeah.
So at around 7 o'clock, the phone rings. Teresa answers. She comes in and she says, "It's a Miss Biagiotti for you, madam."
I will answer the phone. Miss Biagiotti, Baker.
Miss Baker.
Thank you for returning my call.
How can I help you this time?
I again could not leave the hands of a wonderful, very old book, which is written in Italian. And I have to admit my Italian is, well, almost non-existent.
So it hasn't improved since we spoke last.
Not that much. So it would be the question if you would like to take the job to at least do like a rough summary first of all, and maybe just giving me ideas in which chapter, which topic is involved. So you don't have to one-to-one translate everything, then I can have a peek and see what would be of interest to be in more detail translated.
Sure.
Perfect. Then would it be convenient for you if I just ship the book to you, and then you can just have a look in peace and quiet whenever you have time?
Yes, if you send it by tomorrow's post, it'll be here in the afternoon, and I will be able to take a first look tomorrow afternoon.
Perfect. And yeah, just let me know what the cost estimate is, and as usual, we will pay in time. Perfect. Thank you so much. Good. And then I will ask Teresa to wrap the book properly and carefully, and to send it to Miss Biagiotti's address.
She does so, it's not a problem.
And then Alice would walk upstairs to change her clothes to something very non-flashy, so something grey, black, very so basically, if she would walk past somebody, they would not turn their head. Idea.
Okay, so that's not a problem because you've done it before, and Dottie also changes her clothes. The question is, what are you going to take with you as you go there? What kind of implements are you taking?
So I definitely have my walking cane with me, which sticks out, but it's also still a weapon.
The one with the stabby bit.
Yeah, would I take? No, I would not take it because that would stick out. That would be something someone remembers. Because I think Alice, at least if she doesn't have to walk quickly, she can walk without a cane, at least for a little bit. So no cane. She would take definitely her locksmith set with her, and she would take her little revolver with her. And she would have her knife with her as well.
You have a knife?
Just in case. I have a little knife. Just a small pocket knife.
Okay, so a pocket knife, your little your gun, and your lockpick, and a cane, but not the stabby cane.
Not a stabby cane. And I would look at Dottie. I'm not sure if we should take a flashlight. I think I would rather go the same way as we did before. If we're there, turn on the light, because it will cause more suspicion if you see a flashlight in an apartment.
All right. So you basically take all of your things. You wait until, let's say, 20 past 8. You get a cab. So I assume because the last time you did it, you didn't ask the cab to drop you off in front of the building you were trying to break into.
And we would go... We would probably rather arrive there around 8 o'clock. I don't want to make it too late, because then it would be suspicious again if you have people out there. So we would try to be there. Well, the point is that he lives
upstairs, so he could be there at all hours.
Well, but not the servant. Or the boy that runs.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, it's not like he's dead. He's just not been there for 2 weeks. So it could be that he returns.
Yeah, and then I need to specify. When I talk about he, I mean the boy that runs a shop.
Yes.
He will be out, I guess, something between 7 and 8.
Presumably, yeah.
So our idea is to get in around really at 8 or around 8 o'clock, not in the middle of the night.
Okay, good. Okay, so you arrive shortly after 8.
Yeah.
The car drops you off somewhere.
It would be around the corner, so also not again right in front, but like a block, like
make a luck roll.
Corner. That's not my strong suit so far. Let's see, luck. Let's take the other dice. That is a 5. That is a good luck, I would suspect.
Okay, and you are really lucky because it's a semi-detached house. The building itself is a 2-story, so ground floor, first floor, brownstone, and you can actually walk behind it. So it could be that there's some kind of back entrance, or maybe some kind of courtyard, like where they have their outhouse or whatever.
Then we would try to sneak in there. So we would have a look around, and when the street is at least halfway calm, we would sneak in the backyard. Or before that, I would definitely have a look upstairs. Or first of all, if in the shop, if it's really closed, we can't see a light. That would be the first thing to check.
You don't
and
see
we
any
would
light.
Look upstairs if there are lights on as well.
You don't see any light.
Okay, then going to the back and see if there's a small back door, servant, exit. Or
so you walk
like
into, it's like an alleyway. There are some dustbins on the side. You hear a noise, some scratching. Then you hear meow. And 2 cats are fighting over some scraps of food from the dustbin that they've basically maybe removed or whatever. You assume it's a good thing that it's not summer because it's densely populated. There isn't much room. There are the dustbins. They haven't been emptied in a while. if this was heating, if there was heat, this would stink terribly.
Yeah.
It's also quite dark because while I assume, I mean, they did have street lights. I mean, they aren't like as bright as they are today. And this is a very, not necessarily the most affluent part of town. So the alley itself is pretty dark. So once you pass into it, let's say 4 or 5 steps in, you are not seen from the front anymore because it's dark and you're wearing dark clothes.
Good.
It's on the one hand you have like the building that you're walking past, and on the other hand is the other building. So basically there are 2 semi-Ds, they're sharing this alley, and then maybe 8 meters in the building ends, and then it's kind of like a wall, maybe 2 meters tall, so you can't really look over it, but you know, you could climb it if you wanted to. And then there's kind of like a wooden door, which is in good nick, so it's not like it's crumbling when you touch it, so it's but it's also not something that would withstand an all-out assault. If somebody wanted to batter it down, they could. You could also climb it, or you can try and open it, or you know, see if it's locked and then open it.
Alice will try to see if it opens or if she can see a lock or something.
It actually doesn't open, and you can see that it's a lock and a doorknob thing, but it's not like this is in any way new or anything. It's just locked, but it's not been well maintained. It's rusty.
She will try to use her locksmith know-how to get it open. And with a 33, I have a hard... No. Yes, hard success.
Tick it.
Already ticked.
Okay, you unlock the door. You go in. You stand in a yard. It's not a garden, it's a yard. It's trampled down earth, really. There are some drums which probably contain paint or residues of paint that maybe this Bob person that you met earlier may take and then refill at some point. It's a working yard, but it's neat. So basically everything has its place. There is some tarpaulin to cover the drums that have been opened already. Do you want to search it?
No.
Okay.
I think we would just look for the door into the building.
Okay. So essentially it's in order. It looks good. And you can see that it's also frequented. So you can see that there's footprints. I mean, there's been some rain in recent days, so you can see that there's some mud. So people have been walking in and out. But there is nothing else really conspicuous about it. Okay. And of course, then there's the back door. So the back of the house has 2 windows, whereas the front, of course, has the open big window, the shop window, and then upstairs normal windows. And when you look upstairs, you can also see 2 windows. And again, there is no light at the back of the house.
Okay. For me, is it just like blank wall, or is between or like over the window of the ground floor? Is there like a little bit of
windowsill?
Roofing or windowsill?
There is no roofing.
Okay.
And
which
then
makes
there's
sense. We're in New York. Yeah.
Yeah, like the front, the back door. But of course, there are windowsills on the second floor windows and on the first floor windows. There are no window boxes or flower boxes there. It's just plain.
Alice is just
windowsills.
checking in case they need to sneak out, and window would be the only option. It would be quite dangerous. So
you would have to jump from the second floor. Yeah.
Yeah.
From the first floor.
Yeah, from the first floor, but still.
Yeah.
Not really. Well, you can let yourself down, then the fall, but still, it will hurt. So. Good.
Yeah, especially since the ground isn't exact. I mean, there are no flower beds or anything. You would be dropping into a yard, so yeah.
Yeah. Then Alice would walk up carefully towards the back door and try and see if it's locked, which she highly
locked.
suspects. Because
And this lock, unlike the other lock, is actually well maintained. So this is basically something that is kept. And because they're using the door, maybe they don't really use the back alley door that much. Who knows? But this one is in good condition.
probably in the back alley there's nothing that is in value too much, but you want to make sure that no one is entering the house, basically. And I was sure that the young man would close everything up properly. So let's see. Lock picks out again. And with 54, a success.
Okay. You do manage to open the door. So you unlock it. Not as easily as the kind of like old lock, but still. You open the door.
And I would listen. So I would open the door a little bit and
give me a listen roll.
like, listen and see if I hear anything. Listen. 26. That's a hard success. And I will murder a fly on stream. I'm quite sure of it. Go away from my coffee. I'm sorry, guys. So you can even see it. From time
we
to time
can
in the camera.
26, you say. So that's a hard success, isn't it?
Hard success.
You really don't hear anything, but you do smell paint and turpentine and solvents and that kind of thing, but it's really, really quiet.
That is the main point. So, we would step inside. We would close the door, at least behind us, not lock it, but close it. Oh god, the young man will get a heart attack if he finds out he didn't lock the door. So we're in the back part. So here, even on the ground floor, Alice would have I think she would turn on a light switch if we have a light switch here.
There is a light switch, yes.
And she would like to have a look around to see
what you notice, this light is actually very bright.
Okay.
And you probably can guess why, because it's very important when you mix paint that you see lots.
Properly. Yeah. She will have a look around if she can find another tub or a canister of the weird paint that we found.
Make a spot hidden.
And I would ask Dottie as well, so we would both snoop around and see if we can find the very natural
48.
40 for me, so spot hidden is...
For her, it's a normal success.
It's 5 here. I will make it a hard success.
Okay. You don't find the real color, as it were, but you find a book. Like, he keeps his books, and there you can actually see that he prepared real color, calls it that, for Albus Craig on Oder. And to be exact, he did so 4 months ago.
I would look through the book and see if he mixed that for anyone else within, like, at least the last year.
No, you can't see anything about this. He doesn't mention this at all.
That is weird. Alice will, or I think Dottie as well, we will both take down. So what I forgot, Alice definitely has a notebook, her small notebook with her to make notes if she needs to. So also a little pencil. So she would write down exactly the date when it was ordered, just to have that. And then she would put the book back where she found it. Should we then look upstairs? This does not seem to be his usual sideshow, so he only mixed it for Mr. Craig.
You so is this a question to her? Should you
Yeah,
go upstairs?
that would be to Dottie, and then just yeah. I think downstairs we have everything. We don't need to check the front room. That would, I think, the front room. We were there. We know what is there, so we would.
Especially since you were there already in the morning and you spent some time there on your own because he was in the back, Sam was in the back, and you didn't really see anything except the stuff that you bought. So he's very well stocked, but there was nothing out of the ordinary from a normal art supplies shop. So you go there, you go upstairs.
We would leave the light on downstairs because we are still shortly after 8 o'clock. So in case someone walks by, it might be just that they think the poor boy has to do a little bit of overtime. So let's carefully walk upstairs.
You walk upstairs. You come to the place where he lives. So basically it's an apartment. There is a living room with a kitchen. And then there's kind of like a bathroom, and then there are 2 more doors. So you basically the staircase leads directly into the living room, dining room, kitchen area, and then there is like a bathroom. The door to the bathroom is open, which is why you can see what's in, and then there are 2 more doors at the back.
Alice would turn on the light upstairs as well.
Yeah. Now these 2 windows. This living room has 2 windows and they face front.
Then I hope they have drapes.
They do.
Then Alice would walk over and basically tell Dottie that when she closed the drapes to then turn on the light. So
Dottie
she will
does so.
tiptoe over, close drape, and then we can switch on the light. And then we'll have a snoop around in the probably living room. I don't think she would care too much about the kitchen, but the living room, just to see if we can find any books or notes that might be linked to Mr. Craig or this really insane color that we
Spot
have.
hidden.
$53, a normal success.
She also has a normal success. You find his private book.
Okay.
And so you find 2 things, really. You find kind of like his incomings and outgoings, his private ledger, as it were. And you see that he is paying a monthly fee to an asylum. For his daughter Casilda Tivolini, who is being kept there. And you find the name is Mary of the Assumption's Asylum. With an address, so it's somewhere in New York. It's the place where it is, it's not really the best part, so it's in no way, shape or form anything like the hospital that you put Dottie up. And you heard lots about what is done in those asylums, so you have no, it's probably not one-to-one care that she's receiving.
Probably not, but we will write down address and also now that we have a full name, Casilda, with that as well, because it might be worth visiting, or maybe we will see.
And there's also then his diary. And as you read through it, you you can see that it's the diary for the last 12 months. So he's got 12 monthly installments. So there's a series of diaries. Do you want to read anything specific?
So it would be basically from backwards moving on. So when is the last entry?
The last entry is 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and we would read that entry first, just to see if there's anything why he left.
The last entry is dated to a Sunday, and on that day he has been visiting his daughter, who basically he calls her his angel. And it seems like the visit didn't go so well. He doesn't specify it, but it's like there's no change. He promised he would help her, but still no change. What else am I supposed to do? That's the last entry.
Okay. Then Alice would move through the entries, like just going one day before that, and just looking if she can find any notes on his daughter or on the wonderful caller, Mr. Craig.
Okay, in that case, please make a library use roll.
Okay. I haven't used that in a while. Why is it so high? That's my highest stat.
Wow. Dottie has a 0 too.
I have a 12. So we both together.
You both crit.
We both crit. We are good at this.
Yeah, and now she gets to tick it because her library use is actually not very good. It's 42.
Oh, mine says 85. I don't know.
I know, you're really good at it.
So
but I mean, to crit is actually really important because you're looking at a lot of pages because he writes a lot, but now you have something to scan for. You're looking for keywords Casilda, maybe asylum, hospital, and
angel,
real color, angel, or maybe Albus Craig. And round about 6 months before, you find that he has been approached by someone named Albus Craig, who has asked him if he would mix paint for him, specifically made to his own specifications, because he's got specifications. And and he says that this man, and this is why he's written it down, because you don't find him talking about any other patrons coming in and saying, well, can you mix me some paint? He's going to pay him a fortune. He promises him $1,000 if he mixes the paint.
Alice would freeze at that and would just look at Dottie on, where on earth did he had $1,000? With the way he was living.
He says promises.
Okay.
So he doesn't say he gave me $1,000. He says he's promised me $1,000 if I mix him this paint. And he's going to give me instructions on how to do it.
In the one we found downstairs, there would have been written down how much Albus paid for the bucket of paint. Because you usually note down income and out.
It didn't say 1,000, but then again, make an accounting check.
Alice has no accounting. No, she has no accounting. I only have a 5. I just have the base value in accounting. So
okay, but okay, so you don't know very much about taxes, but you do know that for everything he puts down there, he would have to pay taxes. He doesn't want to get taxed on $1,000.
Okay, that's
so he's written down something
in the normal range,
an amount that is in the normal range, you know. But and then he says that he's going to give him exact information on how to do it based on his own specifications, or if you like, recipe, or whatever you want to call it. So he's going to give him a recipe, and then you keep reading, and he says, so I've now got all of the ingredients, or he said, no, sorry, he says he's got all of the ingredients. Now we have to go to the warehouse to mix it there. I can't mix it in the shop. That's weird. But then again, $1,000, that's more than I would ever ask for. And then time passes, and then he says, Albus needs more, but now he's made me a promise. If I do it one more time, Casilda will be healed. He promises she will be healed. He gave me $1,000, so his promises are good. And then after that, there is no more mention of the color or Albus Craig.
But also nothing, because we read through what is backwards, on Casilda being, well, obviously not healed.
But the one about Casilda being healed is more recent. It's only about 8 weeks ago or so.
Okay. Warehouse, Dottie. Which warehouse? That would be interesting to have.
There are so many.
And it would be a warehouse Albus dictated and not Tivolini used. So 2 times $1,000? Where on earth did he have this money from? The way he's living and working, no way he had that kind of money. So either he took a loan, or someone else is behind him with money.
Or he stole it somehow. I mean, he doesn't strike me as the most upright of citizens.
Definitely not, but still it doesn't fit the way he lives. And then returning the book to get the money back. All of that.
Well, he was
more
economizing
like
in that regard. No, I agree with you. I also don't know how he did it, but according to this, Mr. Tivolini did get his money. At least the first time round, so...
At least he's paying if he gets something for it. A little bit of decency there. It's the only point of decency I've found so far in him. Means he got 2 times. Well, when I think about the bucket of paint we found was still quite full, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dottie, what about if he painted that awful painting with the first bucket, and now he wanted to do a second one?
Maybe. But how on earth did he promise that Casilda would be healed? That is I have no
so
idea.
Weird. Alice would go forward a little bit more, but she suspects nothing. Well, Albus will not turn up because the first entry was definitely the first time they met.
Well, I mean, the rest is really about, like,
Life,
mainly
worries
about
his
Casilda. I mean, he
daughter.
doesn't have much in his life that's happening. He doesn't describe his work because to him his work is probably nothing to talk about.
Some like symptoms that Casilda has? Because Anna's really curious on what his daughter really has. I know he's not a professional medic.
He basically, you learned from Sam that 2 years ago that she'd always been weird, but 2 years ago something happened. She woke up crying one day and had to be committed. It seems like she doesn't really talk to him anymore.
Okay.
She seems to be talking, there's like, she constantly calls upon the Holy Mother. So it seems like whatever she has is somehow infused with religion.
If Dottie has nothing else, Alice would put that book back, but she would take out the one like 2 years ago because she's curious if we can find the day where she snapped, like the day before and the day it happened. Or maybe the few days after, because I'm not
Library
sure
use roll.
when. Library use. That is normal success.
Okay, Dottie rolled a 20, which for her is a hard success. So between the two of you, you do find it. And he basically describes that she came back. It was Easter Sunday. They had gone to early mass, like in the middle of the night, and then they'd gone to bed both after that. And then she woke up screaming and shouting and hallucinating over the dead body of Christ risen and that kind of thing. So it was more like, the way he describes it, she was having kind of like maybe like a religious possession kind of thing, you know, but she didn't stop screaming. So he basically called a doctor and they sedated her. And since then she's had fits of religious reverie, shall we say? But she's violent in terms of that. She starts screaming and basically hitting people, and she's constantly praying. There is self-harm. She's tried to eat a rosary once. So really.
Oh well. That's...
There is also, as you look around in the room, there is pictures. There's a picture of a man and a woman getting married. It's a long time ago. It's quite old. Say probably maybe 1915 or something.
Okay.
And then there's also this picture of a young woman, young girl.
Okay. Does she look like the
She
one...
looks like the man in the picture. So there's a family likeness. So this could very well be, if the man is Mr. Notalbano, Mr. Tivolini, then this could well be his daughter.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I would close it and put it back where we found it.
Shall we look in the other two rooms?
Yes, I think so. I think both might be interesting. So we will walk towards the first room and carefully try to open the door.
You open the door. It opens, no problem. It's a bedroom with a double bed. And there's a kind of like a vanity. There is a razor and that kind of thing. Shaving implements. There's a wardrobe.
Okay, so if there's shaving, so it looks like his bedroom.
Yeah.
Basically, based on what we see here. I would just see, probably have a look at if he has like a night table, nightstand, something like that, just to see if there's something there of interest.
There's a glass, an empty carafe, probably water for the night. And then there is kind of like, there's a Bible.
Okay.
And there's also a cross in the room. But then again, he is Italian American. So there is kind of like usually quite a Catholic component there anyway. And other than that, it's a very austere place. I mean, there isn't anything on the walls or anything.
I would also have a look at the closet, because I want to see if he...
The wardrobe, yeah.
Yeah, wardrobe, if he used or packed his stuff, or if he...
It's only men's clothes and shoes, and it doesn't look like... I mean, he may have like 3 different suits, and then, and then there's also work clothes, like he has these kind of like... very long jackets with buttons at the front, like that painters wear.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's a full set there. You wouldn't see like there's anything missing, unless he's got like 6 different outfits, which in his well, I mean, okay, he's got $1,000, so yes, he could easily afford more clothing, but it's highly unlikely. You would say,
But
probably
usually, if
not.
you pack for a few days, you can see a gap in the
No,
closet.
there is no gap.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least he didn't leave, or didn't plan to leave that long.
If he did indeed plan on leaving.
I highly doubt it. Okay, so let's look at her room, because I highly suspect the other room is hers.
You go into that room, and that room is the complete opposite. It's got one single bed, and it's cramped, full of religious paraphernalia. There is the bleeding heart. There is like 10 different representations of the Virgin. There are pictures of the saints. There is kind of like one of those eternal lights. It's not burning, of course, but it's there. There are crosses on the walls. You can easily see, even without looking, that there are 3 different versions of or 3 different copies of the Bible. Whoever lived there was really into Christ.
In a not very healthy way.
I mean,
least that's
even
what Alice
even
is
a nun
like.
would probably go, this is too much.
This is too much. Well, a nun would say you need to
Pare
just
it down.
minimize it. You just
Yeah.
need your belief, a Bible and a cross, and maybe a rosemary and all as well.
Yeah.
Alice would not really. Well, she would have a look maybe in like on the nightstand or so. If she can find a diary, she would just be curious if there's a diary around of
No.
her. Okay. Well, I think the supernatural weird color is definitely Albus's thing. He just used Mr. Tibolini. Okay. Well, we have no hint on the warehouse, so we have no idea where they mixed the color. The only next lead that we have would be the asylum, to see if the daughter's still there.
Yeah. I mean, we've got the address.
And if it's an asylum, they should have a phone, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe. I
They would.
suspect.
Yeah. No, you don't suspect, you know. They would definitely have a phone.
Well, then let's leave, close everything up as best as we can, turn off the lights, back out the back way. And we asked the cab to wait, obviously.
You go
And let's go
downstairs.
back home. Yes.
You leave.
Mm-hmm.
And you close the door as well as you can. We still don't know if you can use lockpicks to actually lock. I don't think we ever established.
I think
Yeah,
the
I
only
think
thing
it's
I
then
can
just
do
stop.
is really just close the door. At least the
Yeah,
front
and-
door is locked.
Yeah.
But
then
we would turn off the light and close
Pull it
the
shut.
doors at least.
Yeah.
Pull it shut, definitely. And
So you leave. You go home. Do you want to do anything?
I think Alice would definitely set up hot cocoa. Also, when we get out, how is weather, sky, thingy behaving? Anything weird, or is it a normal New York evening?
Funny you should say that.
I don't know why I'm asking. I don't want to have the answer.
I rolled on your luck It's less than 64, is it not?
Yes, definitely less.
Remember this moon made of cheese?
Mm.
Now it's completely different. Now it's like where the moon should be, there's just this black hole in the sky. Blacker than black. And the sky warps into it. And it looks... Make a power check.
Why am I even looking? If I wouldn't look, I wouldn't need to make a power check.
It doesn't work like that.
Wait, that's not... That's a list of
Dottie's
names.
fine.
Let's see. That is not the way to roll. I used a d8.
No, it's not.
Let's roll properly with 2 dice. That is 31. I'm fine.
Okay, you're fine. Okay. So yeah, it's kind of weird, but also kind of. No, you just think it's
No,
weird.
it's weird. It's not fun. It's weird, but it's not that scary. We have seen weirder things.
Yeah.
When we arrive at our house, we would. At least Alice would peek again if the balcony on the other side showed up.
The balcony hasn't reappeared.
Okay. I suspect Maeve is sitting in the window and is not looking very happy.
No, but she's staring intently at the moon.
The missing.
The black hole in the sky. Yes.
We pay the cabbie. We go inside. Alice will probably, if Maeve is not coming over, Alice would probably offer to come on, dear. We are going in the kitchen. Staring at the missing moon will not help anyone. And then Alice would, make the hot cocoa.
Mm-hmm.
And Maeve would get a little stack.
Maeve loves this. She purrs. She sniffs the cocoa.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't partake. But she likes the smell of milk.
Well, you can smell it, but if you drink it, young lady, you will feel horrible the next day.
She looks at you and kind of as if she was going to say, well, of course I know that. Am I stupid or what?
Well, you never know, because it smells tempting.
She basically gives you a look, yeah, but I'm a grown woman. I don't get tempted easily.
She will get
Am
a
I
bit of
human?
head scratches.
No, I'm not. Yeah, she leans
Well, luckily
in.
she's not.
She leans
and
in.
I will pour a cup for Dottie.
Dottie
and
enjoys
one for
it.
myself. So tomorrow morning we'll call the asylum and see if they still have an Can you say patient, inmate, however you want to probably?
You would probably call it patient, and so would they. But inmates.
It's more an inmate probably, but hey.
Yeah.
To see if she's still there or if she was picked up.
Mm-hmm.
If she is still there, I am very tempted to visit our dear old lady Maman Lavant to see if she has any ideas on how to really see if someone is possessed.
You would assume that she does, because she openly spoke to you about this.
It's a question
about how this works.
It's a question if she needs to see it, or is there a way Alice could?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would be just
mm-hmm.
a thought about, maybe.
Yeah. And you know she has a phone because you've rung her before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although honestly, I think Alice would visit her.
No, but I mean, you do know it's an option.
Because we haven't been there in ages. We don't even know.
We haven't been there in ages. Not since last year, actually. Since right around Easter of the previous year.
Usually we visit her during daytime or in the evening. No, during daytime, right? I'm just thinking about it. It has been a while.
Because the shops open during daytimes.
Okay. Well, then let's see. But yeah, so Alice will do her usual round to
mm-hmm.
make sure everything is locked up properly.
You are followed by an upright tail.
And then it would be bedtime.
It's bedtime. You go to bed. Go to sleep. You wake up the next morning. It's time for you to make breakfast.
Yes.
Make the
I will.
breakfast.
The newspaper. Nice article about Weird Moon.
Funnily enough, it seems like the New York Times has now decided that if we ignore it, it's going to go away.
Go away. I suspected so that they will not.
Yeah.
Okay.
The New York Herald calls it a total eclipse of the moon, which it was not. I mean, these things do exist, but this wasn't it. So essentially, the normal routine starts, and Teresa takes the book to be shipped to Miss Biagiotti. So, what would you like to do now? So it's now 9:30.
Alice would call the asylum, so she would phone or ask basically the operator, because I'm not sure if you wrote down also the phone number, but at least if not via the operator, finding out should be
the operator
easy
puts
enough
you
to
through
find.
and you hear the voice of a middle-aged woman saying, "Her Lady of the Assumption Asylum, Sister Mary Clarence speaking."
Mary Clarence. Maria Tivolini, good morning. Just have a question. If I think if I understood it correctly, my niece Casilda is one of your patients. I was curious if she's still there, because I'm not sure if my brother picked her up or not.
Try charm or fast talk.
It would. I think it's fast talk or persuasion.
Or persuasion, whichever is the greater. I wouldn't call it intimidate, because you're not trying to intimidate her. Yeah.
No. I don't want to scare. I just want to make believe that I am definitely the aunt of that poor girl. And persuasion is quite good, and I rolled a 28, which is a hard success.
Okay. She is completely unsuspecting. She's a Catholic nun. Who would lie to a nun? No
and I'm
one.
called Maria, so
yeah, you're called Maria, exactly. So with that,
Maria and Mary have a phone call now.
Yes, Maria and Mary have a phone call now. You know. And she says, "Oh, Miss Tivolini, just give me one moment."
Thank
and
you.
You hear rustling in the back and blah blah blah. And she's like, "No, your niece is here. She was well, it says here that her father came to visit her 3 weeks ago on the Sunday, and he took her for a walk, but he returned her. She's been here since. Her father has not taken her out since."
That is highly unusual that he hasn't visited her for that long. I will need to talk
Russell,
to him.
Russell. Yes, you are right, because he usually comes every Saturday and Sunday.
Well, then, just to be curious, do I need any kind of papers of him to visit her, or can I swing by?
What was your... it was a hard success, wasn't it?
Yeah, hard success, yeah.
Well, she's such a poor soul, with nobody visiting her except her father, considering that her mother died at such a young age. Well, I'm pretty sure that anyone would be welcome, but if you're her true blood, then of course you're more than welcome, Ms. Tivolini.
Well, I will first of all talk to my brother, and she will just double check if the address that she has, if that's the correct one.
For the asylum.
Yeah, for the asylum, just to
no,
have a little bit.
That is correct. That is correct. Visiting hours are between 10:30 and 12:30, and then again from 2 to 5.
10:30, 12:30, from 2 to 5. Well, thank you so much for your time, and
Not at all, Miss Tivolini, not at all.
have a nice rest of the
God
day.
bless.
Thank you for taking care of my niece. And
hang up.
Alice would hang up and would be like,
Dottie's standing there kind of like, Jesus wept! When did you learn to lie so convincingly? That was scary.
well, I have a little talent in acting. At least when I was younger, I did a lot of acting. So I thought it would be easiest to get information if I call as a family member.
She nods appreciatively and she says, this was very... I mean, you had me convinced.
She's still there. So I'll give Dottie the ramp down. He hasn't visited her for 3 weeks. Something is not right with him, for sure.
Well, I mean, that was when he was last adding something to the diary, and Sam said that he had been missing for 2 weeks. So if he was there the last time on the Sunday, then he worked during the week, and then he vanished over the weekend.
Without
That makes
visiting her.
sense. Yeah, maybe he vanished on the Friday, because Sam only knows that, he's been missing for 2 weeks. So it means that he was there in the week after the Sunday when he last visited her. So it might make sense that maybe, he was there still on the Friday with Sam, and then Sam didn't see him on the Saturday or Sunday. It may not even have considered this so weird if he went to visit her every weekend. It could be that on Saturdays and Sundays Sam was maybe on his own quite a lot. And then since he hasn't shown since, that's where the problem begins. So when he said he's been missing for 2 weeks, he was basically thinking back, when was the last time he'd seen them? Seen him, I mean.
Alice will pick up the phone again and she will try to get patched through to the police and to Miss Inspector. I need to mark the names. Can I please kick myself for not doing that? Inspector Grant. And see if Inspector Grant is there.
Inspector Grant. Okay, you... 82, you get the desk sergeant.
Baker, good morning. Is Inspector Grant in, or is he on a case outside?
He's on a case at the moment outside. Can I take a message?
Could you please leave a message that he either calls me or swings by at the Baker residence, and she would leave Alice Baker and her phone number as well as her address. And it's urgent. Thank you.
I will be sure to point it out to him.
Thank you.
So where next? To the asylum?
Well, I need a costume shop now, because now I need to be clothed like an Italian woman. And I honestly should look older if I'm his sister.
Well, you pulled that off in London, the old lady look. And with regard to what you should be wearing, I've got just the right thing. Leave it with me. I'll be back in an hour.
Okay. Alice will sit down with tea and then go through the newspaper in peace and quiet.
So in an hour, Dottie comes back. And she says, this is just what you need. She hands you a black dress. Black tights. Non-see-through, of course. Black shoes laced to over the ankle. And a silver cross about this size on a chain for you to wear around your neck. And it's got and she's got a blouse with a stitched collar, kind of like a choker around your throat. And it looks exactly like those Italian women that you have seen. Basically, there's always a death in the family, and they would then always be wearing black.
Yeah.
So basically, this is like and then she says, and then you take your hair back because you're Miss Tivolini. You are not married. So you can be ageless. And Casilda is 15. So you would have been 17 when she was born. That makes perfect sense. Look at our spread in my family. My oldest sister is 12 years older than me.
Yeah, and I can use a bit of like a little bit more powder to exaggerate
and no lipstick,
the
please.
lines. Yeah,
No
I know,
lipstick.
No lipstick. Oh, I shouldn't wear powder then either.
Whatever you do, you have to make your hair look conservative. You have to pull it back, and you should wear a very conservative hat because your hair is short. That doesn't work.
Thinking about to go cliche, because at least Italian women, when I think about, they often have like a headscarf.
Yeah,
to have the hair back. So Alice would go upstairs and would rate her scarf collection to see one that is not maybe just plainish white or cream color, maybe something that will go with everything. I think she would have something like that.
Probably not white, but cream would work.
Cream would work.
Yeah.
And then she would sit down, put her hair back to a tight knot. I think she would use some like eyeshadow to give her a little bit of shadows here and there that looks more like a little bit older and a little bit more warm.
Make a disguise check, please, but with advantage.
Let's see. Well, it's 2 times the same. It's a 19, which is a hard success.
There you are. Perfect.
Holy hell.
Have you ticked it?
The crash and and I'm scared about all the good rolls, because if I need them, they will be horrible probably. We'll see.
Okay.
And then I would walk downstairs in full costume.
Okay, you come downstairs and you see Dottie. Dottie has transformed completely into the grey mouse that she used to be. She's also put on her cross again. And she says, let's go. I'm the cousin.
That is good. So we will have a quick... I will leave the information for Teresa, that in case the inspector calls, that we will be back in the afternoon, latest around 3 o'clock, because we need to be back halfway in time because William is over for dinner.
Oh, and yes, of course, young William.
Yeah.
William is coming to dinner. Yeah.
So, but we should be easily... Well, we can only visit until 12:30 max, so then we will be back. So we should be here probably even by 2 o'clock without problems.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we call a cab.
You call a cab.
We will give the... Oh, broke another one again. We will... Yeah, I'm always good in breaking the clips of the...
Yeah.
And we will tell the cabbie that he will also get paid to wait and to bring us back. And
so
then we go to the asylum.
The asylum is a dreary place. On the outside, because the building is grey. However, as you walk inside, it's clean. It's white. So it's white. Well, what I meant is the walls are white painted, or painted white. That's how you say it.
White, yeah.
And there's a reception, and behind it sits a nun.
Wait, her name was... I didn't write
Mary
it down.
Clarence.
Mary Clarence. Where do I... my brain is still filling out from...
Sister Act.
Sister Act, that's it. And I would approach it like a good day. Are you... Sister Clarence?
Sister Mary Clarence is the name.
Yeah, but she would walk towards the reception and would just ask the lady, like, are you Sister Clarence? Good morning.
Sister Mary Clarence is the name, says the sister.
Oh, she wants the full name.
Yeah, Clarence isn't the last name.
Mary Clarence. And we
You
talked...
have Mary Robert, you have Mary Clarence. They always take a saint's name as the second name. I know it's totally weird, and it depends on the order, but some of them take a male saint's name and combine it with the Mary.
I never thought about how the names come to pass, to be honest, but yeah, that kind of makes sense. We talked earlier today. I'm Maria Tivolini.
Ah, yes, Miss Tivolini, you're here to visit your niece, and that's such a lovely gesture of you. She hasn't had a visitor in 3 weeks, not since her father. So how is he?
Well, he's not feeling that a flu, nothing to worry about.
Oh, poor soul.
And he was, well, there was some trouble with the store, everything fixed as well, but that's why he was quite busy. It will probably take a little bit until he's up on his feet again. But I told him I would at least visit her to just have a look and let her know that he didn't forget about her.
Now, isn't that nice? Well, then I will see to it that an orderly takes you to her room.
Thank you. And we said now Dottie would be my daughter, right? So
no, she can't be your daughter, because then you couldn't be. She's a cousin.
She's the cousin.
Don't specify it, because you are Miss Tivolini, and if he's your brother, then you would have been married and you would have taken your husband's name. So she's just a cousin. You don't have to talk about it.
Okay. And well, it's family, right? I brought a cousin as well, just to keep her a little bit company and
yes,
maybe pray around with her. Although it's a question, do we then trigger something if we do a praying with her?
Oh, well, I can see that you are very, very familiar with her condition. I find that some light prayer helps, but don't overexcite her.
We will try to do that. Thank you so much. And we will just wait for then a sister to bring us to the poor girl.
Yeah, so basically a sister, she rings a bell, and a sister appears, an old nun, and she basically, she has a very strict look. You always only see this part of their faces, up down to the chin. But you can see that she's got white eyebrows, and she's got a lot of wrinkles, so she's probably quite old. And she takes you to the room, and then she knocks on the door. She unlocks the door and she says, "Casilda, you've got a visitor. You've got 2 visitors. Your aunt and your cousin are here." And then she steps to the side and she lets you in, and she says, "Do not overexcite her. Maybe don't mention to her that her father is ill."
We will not. Thank you so much. And Alice will carefully step inside.
Now, Casilda's room has a cot, and it's very bare, but she has a couple of religious items. She has a chair, she has a desk. You can see that there is a light, so there's a lamp, but the lamp is basically placed behind or inside kind of like a barbed wire, not barbed wire, inside a wire frame, so that she couldn't go and break the bulb. And there's also a window. The window isn't even very small, but it's behind bars, so that she cannot reach it easily, so she couldn't easily break it, and she definitely cannot get out.
Alice would want to have a look how the girl behaves. If she's sane enough, because she knows she doesn't have an aunt or cousin, at least
The
to her
girl
liking.
is sitting there in the chair looking out the window. You can see that there are trees outside, so you're on the ground floor. So you can see that there's actually a park-like backyard there. It seems quite sizable. You can see people walking around in it, and you can hear that she is singing. It's like it sounds like she's singing, but it's very toneless and very guileless. And you hear the following words: Dark waves. You don't have to write it down. I'm going to give it
Okay.
to you because it's quite long. Dark waves crash upon the shore. The twin suns have set beyond the lake. The shadows grow long in Carcosa. Strange is the night when dark stars shine and unknown moons sail the sky. But stranger still is lost Carcosa, songs sung by the Hyades, where the tatters of the king fly, die away unheard in dark Carcosa. Song of my soul, with my voice cleared, thy musing as red tears dry in lost Carcosa. The singing, it's not singing, it's more like somebody's praying a litany. And she ignores you. Do you talk to her?
I think Alice would kneel down next to her and carefully put her hand on the girl's hand just to see how she reacts. And she would just, in a very low voice, be, Casilda, dear, your father sent us.
She looks at you and she says, Daddy sent you?
Yes,
That's nice.
He didn't have time to visit you, so he sent us.
That's a shame.
He's very busy with his shop.
Yes, the shop.
Didn't he tell you when he was here last time?
Oh, we went for such a nice walk. He took me to the river. We went to a warehouse. He said it was the most beautiful warehouse I'd ever seen. It was a warehouse. There was a painting.
Did you walk there? Or did you have a little ride at the cab?
No, we walked. I don't like cars, you know. It's the devil's work. You know, things moving by themselves.
I get that. It's kind of scary. You can't control it. And you said there was a painting.
Yeah, it's I shouldn't be talking about this though. I know, I promised.
Well,
You said you wouldn't be talking about this. You promised. I know I promised. I won't talk about it.
well, I guess Albus was there, wasn't he? We know as well.
How can you
Just
know?
well, we know Albus.
It's a secret, you know.
I know,
It's like-
but
You are not supposed to talk about this. Bad girl. I know. I'm a sinner. I will end up in hell. I know. Oh, Holy Mother Mary, Mother of the Lord Jesus Christ. And she gets up, she falls to her knees and she starts praying. Dottie looks at you. Then she looks at the girl and she kneels down next to her, or in front of her actually, and she puts her two praying hands over the two praying hands of the girl, and she says, and the two of them start praying together. So basically, they're going through the Our Father, and then what's the one with, you know, the one about Mary? I forget the name in German even.
I'm out with that.
Yeah,
So, as Alice is out of this as well, I think Alice would just...
You would know them. You would know them, definitely. But so basically the two of them are praying.
I think
and you can
Alice
see
would
that
just...
Casilda is calming down.
Alice would use that time to have a look around. Just curiously. Does she have anything else in this room? Like, did she get, like, a notebook to write down or something to draw or anything like that? Can I see
No,
anything
but you
lying
see
around?
that there's a box of chocolates. Half eaten. There's a Bible, obviously. And some fruit. Hail Mary. They're saying the Hail Mary. Yeah.
I think Alice would just walk over and just casually like open the Bible and maybe flip through a few pages just
Well,
to see if
it's
she can see any
actually-
notes or if it's really in a pristine
It's
condition.
actually not in a pristine condition per se because it's very well thumbed, but you can also see that it's a really good Bible because it's got like the gold lining around the pages. And it's got her name. Casilda Tivolini.
And then I would step back next to both of them.
Casilda is now looking at you and she says, I'm the daughter of the devil. I will end up in hell. Everyone says so. Do you not hear them? Do you hear the voices? I'm telling you, he's coming. And Carcosa will come to New York. It will swallow us whole. The devil's coming. He's gonna wear a yellow robe.
Let me write that down, although I suspected so much, but...
And it is the age of the apocalypse, when the dark moon and the dark stars rise in the sky, and out of the lake of Hali, the beast with the horns on its head is going to rise, and the riders of the apocalypse are going to come down and will cut all the ones that are non-believers and quick us all to the core. And then he will come. And he will bring down the haughty, and he will raise up the poor, and we will all together travel to Carcosa. And she smiles at you, and the smile is of somebody who has just had the most beautiful vision ever.
Alice would offer her just a hand to help her up, that maybe she can sit down again in the chair if she wants to.
And have you seen the faces? The faces at the ball. One by one, the masks will fall, and you will see the true believers. He who has no face, but all faces. He's gonna wear your face, and my face, and everyone else's faces.
We have seen the painting.
The painting. Isn't it beautiful?
It
One
is.
day I will dance with him.
And Alice would lead her over to the chair again, if she lets us.
Yeah.
Do you want a piece of chocolate? You still have some left.
Is it a sin?
No, you deserve one piece. It's a sin to eat all of it at the same time. One piece is fine.
Is it Sunday? I'm only allowed chocolates on Sunday.
It's a holiday today, so you're allowed as well. Just one.
I suppose.
And
if it's
Alice
a holiday.
would take the box and would hold it out to her, would open it that she can pick one piece.
And she looks and she clasps her hand in front of her and she puts out her index finger and then she pulls it back and says, no, not that one. I had that one last time. Because you can see it's different types of chocolates.
Mm-hmm.
How about this one? No, those are the really good ones. I'll keep those for Easter. I'll take this one. And then she takes one piece of chocolate, puts it in her mouth, and starts chewing, and utter bliss comes to her face.
I will close it carefully and put it back and just, like in passing, be like, your father picked very, very yummy chocolates. He has a good taste.
Yes, he does.
He's very sorry he's not here.
Yeah, but when is he coming?
I hope soon. But we will visit you again, meantime, if you're okay with it.
And she looks at Dottie. Will you then pray with me again? And Dottie's like, yes, we can pray all you like.
Then enjoy the rest of the chocolate. We sadly have errands to run, but we will be back soon, I promise.
Well, not until... What day is today?
I will give her an honest answer, whatever day today is.
It's
obviously
Wednesday,
not
let's say
it's Wednesday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I have to sleep 4 times, and then I can have another chocolate.
We will come
Right?
back on Sunday, so we can have a chocolate together.
I'd like that.
Then we have a deal.
And to you, I mean, she's about 15, but she basically oscillates between 15, crazy, and
child.
young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we will step out. And we'll go towards the reception again.
Sister Mary Clarence is sitting there.
Sister, I was just curious, are there any signs of her getting better in the last weeks?
It's difficult to say. She has good days and not so good days. She's not trying to eat her rosary anymore.
Well, that is definitely a very good thing.
It's an improvement. However, if I may say so myself, her identification with all things religious has reached a level that goes well beyond that of the most devout of even our order. I feel that her ability to distinguish between God's world, which has not come to earth yet, and our world is diminishing.
Well, then let's hope and pray.
Let's hope and pray.
Thank you for the good care, and if my brother does not make it on Sunday, I will have a look around again, just to keep her company.
That would be ever so lovely.
Thank you so much. And Alice she's fighting it, but she would probably say something like, "May God bless you," although she doesn't really have
God
any
bless you, my
proper
daughter.
bless you, and have a nice day, because she would be like, I can't just say bye and leave. You would say something religious, and then she would walk outside.
You walk outside. The cab is there. You take the cab back.
Yes.
You arrive home. It's now
Yes.
round about 2 o'clock.
Okay. And
Did you want, because you said you wanted to be home by 2.
yeah, I'm just thinking visiting hours is until 12:30. We would probably be around late lunch home. So
Yeah, so Between 1 and 2, some
Yeah, 1,
someplace
2.
there,
I
yeah.
think Alice's first way would be to get out of this clothes.
Yeah.
She didn't even ask Dottie where she got them. Dottie, are they lent or are they our clothes now? Because I would need them again on Sunday.
Well, we can keep them. They belong to my family.
Okay.
We will have to
And
return them sometime, and I would put them through the dry cleaners first.
Alice will hang them up, obviously, very carefully on a hanger to basically the front of her wardrobe. But switch into something more comfy, and then she would have a look if Inspector Grant left a message. Probably
Inspector
not,
Grant has not left a message. However, you find there are no messages except for one, and it is from Alex Coxton at the Met with, "Please call me urgently."
I will grab the phone and will call Alex.
Coxton.
Baker. Alex.
Alice, it's so good of you to call. You have to come. I'm afraid you have to come now. Something's happened. It's very urgent that you should be here now. Please, please.
Your house or the? I've called the Met number,
I'm sorry.
I
The
suspect.
Met. Yes, you have. I'm sorry. The Met. I will pay for the cab, but it's
You don't have to pay. Give me 5 minutes at least to eat the last bite of my sandwich. Lying, because she didn't have a sandwich yet. And I will grab Dottie and we will be on our way.
Yes, of course. And she hangs up. She doesn't even wait. And then Dottie's like, "Okay, so you will change, and I will make you a sandwich, because you can't be lying to Miss Coxton, can you?"
Yeah, but please, you need to eat something as well.
Well, I will make sandwiches for the both of us, and we can eat them in the cab.
That is the perfect plan. And Alice will run upstairs. She will get ready, run down.
And
ghost.
Yeah, yes,
A very furry ghost.
Yeah. Now Mäuslein. And then basically you come downstairs again, and there are 4 sandwiches and also a flask of tea. And she's already called a cab. The cab's waiting. You get in. They take you to the Met. You have your sandwich on the way. You arrive. You know where her office is. You go to her office. You knock on the door.
Yep.
Come.
I will open the door and go inside.
The
just
room
stick
is
my
full
head
of
inside.
smoke.
As usual. Although it's quite smoky. Alex, what's going...
Come inside, quickly, and close the door. Sit
I
down. All right, so you will not believe this. This is why I had to make you come here, because you have to take a look. Something has happened to the painting.
Which of the paintings?
The ball. I've had to take it down. I've moved it into a side room where nobody can see it. You have to come. You have to take a look at this. And then you will know either that I am crazy, and then you're allowed to tell me, or you will see what's happened. I'm not going to tell you. I want you to take a look yourself and then tell me what you see. All right? I know that this is really mysterious, and I hate to do this to you, but something's happening and something isn't right.
Alice will get up. She would walk around. She would open the window. She would lay a hand on Alex's shoulder. First, please take a breath. Just...
This is... You know how you said you sometimes encounter weird things? I think you've never seen anything as weird as that.
Well, we know the painting is weird. I know it's painted with a very weird color that I've never seen before. So
What?
let's
It's not just one color. It's several colors, but... What?
Yeah, nevertheless, let's go.
Okay.
I suspect what I might be seeing, but let's see if it's true.
You go to the room. She takes you really... It's kind of like a side room, which is still big because the painting is more than 7 square meters big. It's really big, wide and tall. But she's draped something over it. She says, I had to. And she removes this huge canvas that she's put over it, or blanket or tarpaulin or whatever. And she turns on the light, and you see the painting. Do you take a good look?
Yes.
Okay. Make a spot hidden.
Okay. Let's see. I will look for anything yellow and for masks not being there where they were, or for changed faces. Although there was only one face that was revealed. That was his wife.
The dancer. Yeah.
The dancer. And that is an 18, which is a crit success if I give some luck points. Crit success.
Okay. So you have a crit. Dottie has a hard success in spot hidden. And you have to look closely. But as you do, you see that in the back row of dancers, one male dancer doesn't have the mask anymore. And you see a face that you haven't seen before, like this, but you've seen a younger version of it. In the wedding picture of Notalbano Tivolini. Alex is smoking and she's like, did you see it? Did you see it? Tell me it's there.
It's there. It changed.
How
And
is
she
that
looks
possible?
at Dottie. People in paintings again. Why does everything wants to have me against paintings? And she will turn around again. The dancer looks still the same, right?
Make another spot hidden. This time it has to be at least a hard success.
It is not. It's just a normal success. It's too far away to give points out.
You don't see any difference.
Do I see anything yellow in that? Because with what we heard today, she didn't look at the painting before with that eye.
There are yellow symbols there, and that they have been there all along. And it's like 3 yellow hooks around a hub, so it looks like the spokes on a wheel. And they are basically, because this is like I said, it's kind of like a ballroom in some kind of maybe, I don't know, kingly court or something, and you have those almost like tapestry thingies hanging on the walls, drapes. So it's like, you know, those. It's almost like bunting, really big bunting, white, and then you have those yellow things stitched on it. It looks like, actually, it looks like embroidered. I mean, of course, it's painted, but it looks nice.
Alice will pull out.
You think it looks really nice, actually.
Alice will pull out her notebook and will draw the basically the
Make a
symbol.
power check.
Why is Alice so? Because Alice doesn't know what I know about that part of the Cthulhu mythos. And that is a fail with a 73. That's far away from POW.
Okay, good.
No, it's not good, but well. She will draw it and she will put it in a notebook, like, we need to remember that one. And then she'll stare at the painting again to see if she can see anything else. Probably not.
Nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, okay, that is already out of the ordinary, but nothing in addition to the craziness you just witnessed.
She will look at Alex. Did you talk with Albus about this?
He's nowhere to be found. I can't reach him. He's unavailable. I haven't been able to get to him. I mean, he doesn't have a phone. So I wrote him a telegram. He hasn't responded.
He's not at home. The police is looking for him as well.
What? So you're saying that Penelope is missing and now Albus Craig is missing?
Yeah, I called William to make sure he's still there. He is. I will see him this evening for dinner. She would just point at the figure that doesn't have the mask anymore, and she would just look at Dottie. It looks like him, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Him? Who's him?
Well, that there looks like the wife of the painter. And that there looks like the paint maker that he uses
Maker.
to mixes his special paint.
What?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it is not unusual for artists to use real live models in their paintings, but and I mean, for an artist to use his wife's likeness in a painting happens all the time. And why not the paint maker? My problem is it wasn't there in the beginning. The painting has changed. And nobody has touched the painting.
And what is even crazier, both of them are missing too. Not only the painter, the wife and the paint maker as well.
What?
Mm-hmm.
So and Penelope is missing, the wife of the painter and his paint maker.
I'm not sure if Penelope is really linked to it in the same way. I hope she's not linked to it in the same way. I still haven't. I would love to have clues on where Penelope is and what happened to her. I still have nothing. I just get dragged down more in the case of Albus that I honestly don't like. He is weird. This painting is creepy in whichever option I'm seeing it, with or without the dance in the background. Well,
I mean, the thing is, I don't even know what to do with it. I will not hang it up again. We cannot show this because somebody might notice that it's changed. Then they will accuse us of tampering with it, which I cannot have. But also, I mean, I told you from the very beginning that I thought it was somehow creepy. I'm creeped out by this because somebody changed the painting, but the paint is still the same. When you touch it, there is no difference. It's not like this is wetter, and it should be because this is oil. This, and she points to the second face, isn't in any way more recent than the rest of the painting. So something's happening to the painting. Something really weird is going on here, Alice, and I want you to find out what that is. I'm going to pay you. I'm going to hire you.
You don't have to pay me or hire me because I'm already stuck in this case if I want it or not. This is just another puzzle piece.
So what do you think is going on?
I'm not sure you really want to know.
Why?
At the newspapers the last days.
She blows smoke. I stopped when they were talking about the moon was made of cheese because that's simply not true.
Well, it's not made of cheese. It looked like it for sure.
What? I mean...
Yesterday there was no moon at all.
There was no moon?
No.
Alice, what are you saying?
That this is a very, very, very weird case. And I honestly am not sure how far of details you want to know.
Well, let me ask you this. Is it gonna bring the Met into disrepute? Because if it is, then I need to know. I have to inform the board of directors.
I don't think so, although at the moment I think it would be best to cover it and put it in a storage room.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lock it away.
Might be that I will come by next week and we will have a look at the painting if it changed. Because I suspect it might.
How?
I said extraordinary paint. Well, he's not using normal paint.
You're speaking in riddles, Alice Baker.
That's my weird private investor life. I can tell you that's a job you should not take away.
Oh no, I'm a professor of the fine arts and a painter myself. I'm not going to change line of work. All right, so, well, first of all, and then she stubs out her, she basically throws her cigarette on the floor, she steps on it, and then she says, Alice, first of all, Thank you so much for coming. And
Well,
thank you for confirming that I'm not crazy.
You are the good kind of crazy that is not crazy that you've seen what has changed. It changed. You just put it back with the information that you're waiting for feedback from the artist. Until you don't hear from him, you will just store it safely because you want to make sure nothing else happens to the painting. I think then the mat is spit spot clean, don't have to worry.
Mm-hmm.
I highly doubt he will return for the painting because I'm not sure if he's still around, to be honest.
You mean he's dead?
Well, he's been missing for at least a week, I think. Let me see, how long was he?
Round about a week, yes. It was the Sunday last that the guy in the studio saw him.
Well, he was last seen over a week ago. His wife as well. So, and he was not seen at home or at the studio.
No, it's not true. His wife wasn't mentioned. Kocholski had never seen the wife. You don't know how long the wife has been missing.
Okay, that's true. The neighbor just said that she hasn't seen them for over
a long time.
Like for a long time.
Yeah. We will just have to see. I will talk to the police again and give them more information as well, because it's linked to Penelope somehow. I can't figure out what, but we have more and more people missing, so I suspect the police want to know. Okay, so Craig is missing. Penelope is missing. Craig's wife is missing. His paint maker is missing.
Yes.
Anyone else?
Not so
that
far.
we know of. But they are all somehow linked to that painting. I mean, Penelope indirectly. She won. He didn't.
And you should make sure no one buys the painting. It should not be sold.
I will think of something. I've already got bids.
We'll park them and tell them the artist
No, I will park them because for the next 6 months all of these paintings need to remain here anyway on display. But I'm going to think of something. Maybe.
The only question I have: who decided that he was in under the top 3? An artist that have never been. He must have had. Well, you know how the game is. Not any artist from the street comes up and you are in. You need connections.
Well, I mean, it was open
people.
it was open to everybody. Everybody could submit. The point is that this painting is of very fine quality. I mean, the technique is superb.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
The color composition is extraordinary. Yes, the subject matter, but some of the paintings of Goya, especially his still lives, you know.
Yes, I know.
But it was a unanimous decision that he should be in the top 3. It was just a question of second or third place. Nobody saw him in first place. The majority voted for third, and I was among them, and I agree. But the only remarkable or unusual thing about this is that there is no extant paintings of his that we could have looked at other than this. So he's not been a successful painter so far. It's like maybe this is a once-in-a-lifetime achievement for him.
Well, it is, because all the drawings we saw from him are... I can draw better than him.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
Also, next time you do a competition like that, check the artists, because he's a creep outside as well. And she will give her just a tiny summary of the studio and the girls and the information they found there. You don't want to support anyone like that.
Of course not.
So, for next time, have a double check.
I will.
Because it's fine if someone is poor and they have a chance and they take it, but that man is no good.
I didn't know.
Okay. I'll keep you posted on anything else we find. And if you hear anything from him, please let me know.
I will.
Thank you. And with that, I think Dottie and Alice will leave the Met to return home.
You return home.
Mm-hmm.
It's now easily 2:30, almost. It's probably around 3 o'clock.
I think 3 o'clock, yeah.
The phone rings.
Mm-hmm.
Teresa answers. Miss Biagiotti for you.
Thank you. Miss Biagiotti, Baker.
Miss Baker. Well, I have to say that you should ring me more often because your books that you send me are so interesting. I remember the last time I did the diary.
Mm-hmm.
Now this year is something else. You basically you are right. It's going to take me a little while to translate the whole book. So I looked at the frontispiece, a very lovely book, and then I did a brief survey of the content, and you said to look for something that is a little bit unusual.
Yes.
Well, how about this? There is one chapter.
Ooh, I think Alice would stop her. Would you mind not maybe do that by phone? Should we come by maybe, or do you want to come by at our place? Whichever is easier for you.
Well, I would prefer if I could come to your place. I don't usually have business visitors in my home.
Then, whenever it fits you. Not sure if
Well,
you
then I
want
would do this now.
Yeah, then we are at home.
Mm-hmm. I will see you in half an hour.
Thank you. Because
Half an
Alice
hour.
is like, there are people listening in. Never forget that.
Mm-hmm.
We learned that in other games. Don't trust the phone line. And here definitely people were listening in. And I guess, honestly, Alice is getting interesting calls. So I could imagine they are like, oh, a call again. What's she up to now? It has been so quiet for so long.
Half an hour later, Laura Biagiotti arrives. She's led in. Teresa makes tea.
We would have some tea
Biscuits.
ready because Teresa
Yeah.
can do that, and some biscuits. No cookies. We're in America. They're cookies, not biscuits.
Yeah, they're cookies, yes.
Mm-hmm. And we would sit in the lounge, I think, or dining room. Maybe be easier if she has like paper or anything to turn on.
Well, it's really a lives of the most important sculptors, architects and painters, and some of these names you have heard, and she cites some names of the Renaissance that you have definitely heard, and she says, and then there is, if you like, the naughty corner of those that are of ill repute. And one stands out because this person, his name is Francesco Mazzulli. It seems like, in a way, he made a pact with the devil. So I took the liberty of just translating this particular bit because I thought this was what you were looking for.
It definitely sounds like the right thing.
And I'm going to put this up. I'm going to try and share. Let's see if this works.
Let's see well, it worked before. Please don't crash on us.
Can you see something? And if so, what?
Yes, I
Okay.
can see a Word document.
So I'm going to read it for the stream. Is it big enough, or do you want me
Yeah,
to
it's
enlarge it?
it's
Okay.
easy to read.
Okay. We often witness that the richest and sometimes most preternatural gifts are often bestowed in an unnatural way through external forces. We see combined in one single body such terrible, hateful, and mean demeanor that, wherever that person may turn, whatever this person may undertake is so horrific and to the detriment of his fellow human beings that it becomes clear. Whatever he does, Whatever he may achieve in his life has been granted to him by the Lord of Carcosa. It is neither his own talent nor his own skill or perseverance that brings about his greatness. We have witnessed this in Francesco Mazzulli. In addition to his lecherous and abominable behavior that he has shown, it is clear that the fall of Carcosa suffuses all his being and doing. However, his latest and last work, the painting of the aspis and nave of Santa Maria della Steccata, was never completed. His physical and mental powers gave out before the end, and so he was given his marching orders. Fallen into disgrace and poverty, he died in Parma in 1540. Vincenzo Caccianimici was a close friend of Mazzulli's. This gentleman, originally from Bologna, tried with all his might to emulate Mazzulli's style and technique. This Caccianimici was a good paint mixer, and the works he created for his own pleasure or to give to his friends are praiseworthy. Especially outstanding is his work depicting the decapitation of John the Baptist, which was hung in the family chapel in San Petronio. He died in 1542. Before his death, I spoke to him, and he disclosed that his art and the art of Mazzulli came from the paint they used, and not from their own gifts, and that paint was made in Far Carcosa. To mix that paint, he first drew the coat of arms of Carcosa, a yellow symbol with 3 hooks on a central hub, like spokes on a wheel. You draw it so that the topmost hook points towards the moon. Then you wait for the moon to drip from the heavens into the water and form a silvery path. Then you pour your victim's blood into the water for it to mingle with the silvery light. And when the moon has gone down beyond the lake of Hali, the paint will pour forth, and it will be most delicate, most vibrant, and most expressive. You can use it to create all you desire, all you imagine, and all you have ever wished for. Nothing and no one is beyond your reach. All will flock to you and will do your will. And the king of Carcosa will name you a god, since you can create things beyond creation. This was the last I heard of Caccianimici, but it sheds an interesting light on the death of Mazzulli. He was, after all, found devoid of any blood.
I think Dottie would be there to listen in as well. Yeah. And I think Dottie looks as uneasy as Alice is looking. Or you found the exact thing we needed. Is there anything else around the 2 painters in the book? Probably not.
Nothing. And I also have to say that I'm not sure what Carcosa is. It's not an Italian word. It's not a word I've ever heard before. It seems to be a place name, but it's not in Italy. I can tell you that much.
Well, I have to admit, we Americans are very good in adapting names from all over Europe, so you never know. Maybe there's a Carcosa hidden in the US. I am not sure. Well, but that means you already saved my life in translating that quickly. No, not saving my life, but made my life much, much easier with that. I don't think we need more translation than that.
The other painters are a lot less interesting, shall we say. Or interesting for a different reason. This one stood out. It's the only death that is recorded, other than he died peacefully in his sleep.
Well, it fits to, well, the case I'm working on, because Carcosa came up today in another place as well. We still have no idea where it is, but you found exactly the puzzle, or one of the puzzle pieces we needed. So for now, I think that would be all we need. In case I stumble over more, I would contact you, obviously. But thank you so much for your quick help.
Well, I'm glad that I could help you. Thank you. Thank you. It was a most interesting assignment. My invoice will be in the post.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And we would probably have like 2 or 3 sentences about, I don't know, weather in New York or whatever. And then I would lead her outside. Wish her a nice day.
Call me a cab.
Yes, definitely. We will wait for the cab to come.
And basically, then the cab arrives, and he leaves. She leaves. She's again most gracious. And when you look at the book, it's like she handled it with so much care.
Yeah.
You couldn't even see that you gave it away to
I
somebody else.
was sure of that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she left us like a printed
You've got
or typed version
You've
in
got
English.
a typed version of it, and she has also basically written. She has because there are page numbers. I will say, and she says, well, this is page so and so to so and so, so that you can actually refer to it. And when you do take a look at that part of the book. Other than the frontispiece and the picture that I showed you last time, the cover, and there are no pictures in the book, so it's really text.
It's just text. Yeah. Although quite detailed text.
And then the phone rings again.
In thought, Alice would probably walk directly to the phone, be like, Baker?
Miss Baker, this is Inspector Grant. You asked me to call you urgently. How can I help you?
Well, we found quite a few information about missing people, all kind of linked to...
Missing people?
Yes. I already talked to you that the painter is, well, Penelope, obviously, but that Mr. Craig is missing.
Yes, you said so, yes.
His wife is missing, definitely, for a longer time even. And he used, you remember the paints that were found at the studio, the paint mixer that I visited him, I told you about it.
Yes, you did, yes. What about him?
He's been missing for over 3 weeks now, and he's definitely missing. He didn't pack, he didn't visit his sick daughter that is stuck in an asylum. His poor employee is just running the shop, and he doesn't really know when his boss will come back. I highly doubt he will come back. And he didn't pack anything. All his stuff is still there.
A paint mixer, you say?
Yeah, and I will give the name.
Do you happen to know his age?
I don't think Alice has his proper age. She knows he's middle to older age. Well, we saw a picture of him.
Probably
in
late
50s?
40s, early 50s.
Early 50s, yeah. Well, in his apartment there's a picture of him in younger ages, I have to say. But still. Did you find some
A
body?
picture will not really help us, but well, you know how there was a dead body, the dead body of a woman found in the Hudson a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
She had been in the water so long that her face was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, a group of dock workers found a dead body in a warehouse on the Hudson of a man. Mid to late 40s, maybe. Unfortunately, he couldn't be identified because rats had eaten his face.
But
The
let me
body
guess.
was already quite decomposed.
I would suspect there isn't much blood in him. Anyhow?
How did you guess?
Not sure you wanna know? So the dead woman in the Hudson might be the painter's wife. By any chance, do you mind telling me which warehouse? Because we know the paint mixer took his daughter for a walk to a warehouse, and it must be around the Hudson. Just walk away from the asylum. Or I give you the address of the
One
asylum and you can
could
check.
go to the Hudson near such and such bridge on such and such wharf.
Mm-hmm.
And look for a warehouse where it says police line, do not cross, and not go there. Because, of course, that would be trespassing. But for that, one would need to know the exact location of this warehouse. Number 8. On Pier 37. But, of course, nobody knows that.
No, nobody knows that. Well, the question is, we have the option, are his fingers still there? Do you want to have fingerprints? Because his apartment must be full of his fingerprints.
His fingers are still there.
Then
unlike the lady in the Hudson whose skin was so... it basically came off her.
Was there any trademarks on her, anything? Or how was her blood level is the other question.
Well, she had been in the water for quite a while, so...
Yeah, so you don't know. So, but at least we can see if we can
However,
identify.
if you say that we could always try dental records.
That might be it.
You say that it may have been...
I'm quite sure it's her. And I'm very sure it's him, which hurts my heart to say because he has a daughter where we now need to figure out who will pay for her asylum, and I don't know what will be with the store and his employee. But as I said, if you want to take fingerprints from Mr. Tivolini, and she will give him the full address again, just to make
You hear
sure.
him scribble. Well, thank you very much for that lead.
Oh, thank you so much as well for calling back and taking the time
And we
to
will
take down
not
the
talk
note.
about this warehouse to anyone else, will we?
Which warehouse are we talking about? I don't know. We are talking about the man, and as I asked you, Mr. Tivolini is missing, so if you could have a peek into that, that would be really lovely.
We understand each other. Thank you so much, Miss Baker.
Thank you, Mr. or Inspector
I will-
Grant, not Mr. Inspector Grant.
I will send somebody round that paint shop today.
Thank you so much, and tell them they should be nice to the poor boy. He's really trying to hold up the store. He's stressed out already quite a bit, so
Maybe I should go myself.
that would be very kind of you. Thank you so much.
Not at all. Would that be all?
Yes, thank you.
Have a lovely day.
You too. And Alice would hang up, and she would walk over to the liquor cabinet, and she would pour herself a little one, and she would then sit in the kitchen, just plonk herself, and take a sip. No, she would down it. She would not take a sip. She would down it. Just put it down and be like, we need to stop to be private investigators.
Anytime.
But the question is, who else will help the poor souls? It seems like they found Mr. Tivolini. Inspector Grant will check the fingerprints because there's no face left to be identified. But, well, surprise! He was bled out of almost all his blood, and he was found in a warehouse. And Alice, next to her telephone, there's a notebook. She scribbled down what the inspector said, and she will get up. She will grab street map. No, city map.
Yeah,
And
street map as well.
she will go and she will make a mark at the asylum, and then she will look for the warehouse that he gave her basically the direction to, and see
You
and
could
mark
walk.
that as well.
Probably around 20 minutes, half an hour one way.
She would also mark then the locations of the painter's house as well as his studio and also the shop, just to see where everything is located.
The painter's, well, you know that the painter's house is nowhere near his studio because you had to take a cab.
Yeah, and the house
But
is probably not involved, but the studio.
Yeah, but the
Is
studio
close
and
to
the
the
warehouse are very close.
So Tivolini is close as well because he was not that far away. Well, I guess tomorrow we'll see if we can sneak into a warehouse.
Well,
Although I'm hesitant if we find anything there. What will happen with the poor daughter? The poor boy and the store.
well, I mean, if he has finished his apprenticeship, he could take over the store. He seems to be working.
Now the question
People
is if
go there.
Tivolini has more family somewhere that could claim everything.
Well, we've met his sister, and she smiles at you.
Well, but she doesn't have papers to get the proper work.
I'm more worried
Done.
about the daughter. Because even, you know, it's not going to be cheap.
No, but honestly, wherever she is, it's not helping. So
Maybe she
I think
can't
for
be helped.
today we focus on William and the visit. Tomorrow I definitely want to swing by Madame Laveau because I would love to have any kind of chance to check if there's something not natural going on with the girl, because she obviously is not in her right mind, because you've seen that she was talking like two personalities inside her. I know that's a mental illness that is not that unusual, but the question is what is more behind that. And then I think we need some library time to find out if we can find anything on Carcosa
All right.
or on those two painters.
Yes.
I think sitting in a library sounds like a good thing to do tomorrow.
All right. Then let's go to the library tomorrow. But now I really need to get cooking. Because
Do
William
that.
will want a good meal.
She will put the glass away. She will clean it and she will put it back in the... And she will probably use the kitchen table, because I don't think Dottie will use it to work on because she has the counter space. So she will use the kitchen table to have now the street map out. She will have the notes out. She will have the translation out. The book itself she put away in a safe. And her notes and her drawing as well. So the drawing she took from the painting fits to what is written in the translation, right?
Yeah, it's a hub with 3 spokes. As you do this, basically, do you put the note paper with the symbol that you drew on the table?
I think she would open the notebook and she would draw it on the corner of the translation, just to have it in one piece of paper.
As you do this, thud! A very, very furry white paw comes down on it.
Maeve? What's
And Maeve
going
gives
on?
you a look.
You don't like that sign, do you?
She just keeps looking at you.
She looks over to Dottie. The cat wins always, right?
Always.
Okay. Alice will just put the pencil down and she will close the notebook and push it to the side.
She withdraws her paw and she looks at you. And now the look is of utter concern.
I know we're in a hot mess here in this kind of whatever is happening. We will figure it out and she will give her some scritches. Do you want me to burn the page? Meow once? Yes. Twice? No.
You get one meow.
Okay. Because Alice is like, that sign is... She doesn't need it on a piece of paper.
Imprinted in your
yeah,
brain.
she's good in visualizing things. So she will light a fire in the fireplace. And she will throw, or she will just she will rip out the one page of a notebook, not all of it, because other things are in there as well, and she will just like throw it into the fire.
Maeve watches it burn, and then she relaxes.
Okay. I will
And then
promise
she
not to
headbutts
draw
you.
that again, whatever that is, although I think it's quite connected to the story you heard. So I obviously think you don't want us to find out more about Carcosa, do you? With Carcosa, does she react to that? Just to be curious.
She does, but it's not the same reaction.
Okay. So
You can now make an idea roll for me.
idea.
That's intelligence.
Intelligence, yeah. I should just read the character sheet properly. Barely made it. I rolled a 79, but it's still a success.
Okay. It could well be that the issue is more literally putting pen to paper to make something real by drawing it rather than the knowledge of it.
Of it, okay.
Yeah. And that's maybe why she doesn't care about Carcosa, because it's a word that you're saying.
Yeah.
And then the smells from the kitchen are delicious. The evening rolls around, 6 o'clock, 5:30, 7 o'clock. You probably get dressed properly.
I get dressed. All the information, I will fold it up carefully and I will put it in my study. And honestly, I even think in my study I could imagine her having like a pin board.
Yes.
For other cases as well. And she would pin it up and just have everything there at least prepared. And yeah, then she gets ready.
Yeah.
And we'll wait for William to show up.
William shows up at the appointed time, 7 o'clock on the dot. The doorbell rings. What's her name? Teresa opens and lets him in, and he has a wonderful bouquet of flowers for you.
You're a charmer, William. You don't need to bring me flowers. But thank you. They are lovely.
Of course I need to bring you flowers. And he kisses you on both cheeks.
I will give him a hug.
And he hugs you back. And
I'm happy you are well and up and breathing.
He smiles at you and he says, well, what did you expect? I mean, I do eat regularly.
Thank goodness to that. Well, come on. And she will usher him inside. Probably first sitting in the lounge until dinner is then finally ready. And so let me know what you were up to. She would do small talk in the beginning, just ask him how everything's going and so on. So just chit chat.
Well, he basically tells you that everything is going fine. He told you that he had a commission that he's working on, so he really is basically doing this from 8 to 5, you know. And he is and he looks healthy. So he has filled out a bit, and probably because now he's eating regularly and he's getting enough sleep. But he's also gushing on about how he is, of course, studying still, and how he is really how everybody seems to be thinking that he's making good progress, and he is still so delighted about the fact that he won. He can't believe his luck, and he is eternally grateful to, of course, you, that you funded his studies.
Well, you were a talent that needed a little bit of a nudge in the right direction, so I'm happy that you jumped on the train, and it's lovely to see where you're developing too.
And he, of course, wants to know everything about how you spent your time in Egypt, what it was like, how also how Pamela is doing, because you spent your Christmas with her, or your New Year's, and he wants to know everything, and about, basically he's milking you for all your information, everything that you did.
I will tell him all the normal stuff of Egypt.
Okay.
So not the crazy part, because that will be hard to explain. She will still mention the beautiful paintings of the artist. And
Lagrange, you mean?
Exactly, Lagrange. And she would talk about Pamela and the family and the beautiful house, and also the beautiful house in London, because we stayed in London for a while, and also telling about a beautiful museum and just all the good things. And yeah.
Okay.
I think after all when we just during dinner or afterwards, probably she would just plunk herself down. So I was just curious, did you have much contact with the other artists that took part in the competition?
No, not really. I mean, we didn't really meet each other until the reception. I mean, we talked, but it's like talking to, and then he looks at you. I don't know if you talk a lot to colleagues in your line of work, because I don't even know how many PIs there are that you know. But I mean, imagine you had plenty of colleagues. Some of them you get on well with, and some of them you don't. And, well, I mean, I thought that Penelope and Rob were really delightful.
They are, and
John Garfield, I mean, isn't it great when you think back that he has an uncle, a great grand uncle that fought under George Washington? I think that is amazing. That is living history right there. And for him to sit down and then actually paint a parade in his honor, I thought that was really smashing. And we talked, but it's like, everyone has their own life, I suppose. It's not like we have met since. But it's not because I didn't want to, but it's just, colleagues.
Colleagues.
But why do you ask? I mean, did anything happen?
Well, 2 of them are missing.
What do you mean 2 of them are missing?
Penelope is missing. Just missing. Left the home and never returned.
What? Why?
She almost finished. I'm working on finding Penelope. It's not going very well, I have to say. And by that I stumbled over the problem. Well, maybe not. Well, the one with the creepy painting is missing as well.
Albus.
Yes. And no, they did not run off together.
Because that would have been my first thought.
No, by far. Rather, my initial idea was that Albus got rid of Penelope because he was very angry about her winning.
What's the point? She has already won. I mean, if he kills her now, what's the point? You should have killed her before she submitted. I mean, not that I'm advocating killing your competition.
No, but honestly, if you kill an artist, it's never a good thing because then the paintings get even more recognized. So, I don't know.
He looks
honestly.
kind of like at the ceiling. He's like, yeah.
Please don't kill yourself. Your paintings are amazing, like they are.
I have no intention.
Also, please don't cut off your ear or anything weird like that. Yeah.
He touches his ear and he's like, no.
Don't do a Van Gogh, please. Basically the police contacted me about Penelope because, she was here and she took some drawings because I commissioned her to paint a painting of our lovely Maeve, and she will point to the cat because I'm quite sure the cat is at least nearby.
Yeah, the cat is, she's, as she hears her name, she comes closer and then she sniffs William.
And, the painting is almost done, and we had a meeting. She wasn't there. I just went back home. It was weird, but I thought, but then the police contacted me. Her parents called in that she's missing.
But, I mean, that's terrible.
Yes, for sure.
So you think Albus killed her and then killed himself?
I'm not sure, but it's weird that both of them are missing.
Yeah, for sure.
As I said, definitely they haven't run off because I highly doubt Penelope was a nice person. She would not appreciate time with that man.
Well, I don't know the first thing about him, so maybe he's really nice.
No, he's not. Believe me, I looked into him. There's nothing nice about him.
Oh.
Well, he pays his bills. That's the only thing I can say. Maybe that's a good thing. Not everyone does that. So, just in case Albus contacts you, please just ignore him. Send him away. Don't talk to him. Please.
All right. I will.
And if by any accident you stumble over news on Penelope, please let me know.
Of course, I will.
Although I highly doubt you will hear from either of them.
Well, I mean, I had nothing to do with Albus, and Penelope and I spoke, but also not at length. I mean, I would welcome her contact, but I doubt that she will be in contact with me because why should she?
Yeah.
But if I hear anything from
That
her
would be
or
good.
about her, I will let you know.
That would be lovely. And you need to take care of yourself, but I'm just thinking of outside of the game. His painting was the one with the reverse colors, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Then Alice would return to the idea that one of the other artists gave about we should maybe think about doing an exhibition also with German artists.
That would be lovely. I would totally be for that.
Well, it would bring that style and see where it comes from, and it would give space to you and maybe some other artists that go in the same direction, inspired by that, and have a nice exhibition topic. I will talk to Alex about it, so it might be that she will contact you on that.
I'm looking forward to that.
Perfect. And then Alice would just go over to easy peasy topics, asking if he has any exhibitions coming up or how's commission work going,
and he talks to you about it, and so the evening wears on, but at around 11:45 he takes his leave because he has to get up early tomorrow because he has to work on his commission.
Yep.
And
I'll call him a cab and make sure he gets brought home.
do you pay for the cab because he's
Yes.
always short of cash?
No,
Okay,
I will definitely pay for the cab, but I don't want him to walk around in those streets at night.
He kisses you on both cheeks and takes his leave and leaves.
I will close the door. I will lock the door.
You do your patrol.
I don't even want to look really outside how it's looking. I will just make sure everything is closed up. And probably then pour myself a cup of tea, bring it upstairs, and I will sit in the study for a while, just staring at basically the different clues we have now and the map. Not really finding anything new, but just staring at it for a while. And later than she should, but still she will get up, turn off the light and go to bed.
And you turn off the light, you go to bed, and then next morning you wake up, you make the breakfast.
Yeah.
And then you want to go to the library.
Yes. Yeah, Maman Lavant I would not do early in the morning, so library would be after breakfast, go to library.
So what would you like to research?
Places, first of all. So in any kind of worldwide search for Carcosa.
Okay.
First of all, and then going to the painter section to find anything on the two Italian painters from the translation. We would have written down the names of the painters and Carcosa on an extra piece of paper. She will not take any of the clues with her. They will stay in the study. And Teresa has a clear note of not going into the study.
All right, she takes this. All right, so essentially you look for the term Carcosa. Now, the thing is, Carcosa is not a place name that you find anywhere. If it is existing in this world, somebody forgot to write it down.
Okay.
And oh, there's a translation of the song.
Okay,
but
so Carcosa.
But you find out something, that Carcosa is a made-up name of a city that appears in a play. And the play is called Le Roi en Jaune.
My French is good enough to translate that.
Yes. Interestingly enough, this play doesn't seem to have an author. And it gets a bit weird. Because it has been translated into English as well. And there, the title is The King in Yellow. And it is kind of a weird play which was staged once in New York City in 1899. And after it was staged, on the opening night, people rioted in the venue, and there were some deaths, and it was all very strange. And then the troupe that was putting it on, they were partially arrested by the police for causing disorderly behavior. Then it was prohibited to put it on. And you cannot really at the moment find a copy of the play, but you find a summary of it. And it's written by a scholar, basically, who watched the play on that day, and who basically, not a scholar, a journalist, because you find an article about it in the New York Times. The work deals with the inhabitants of a decadent alien city, apparently called Itil, adjacent to Aldebaran, which is prominent in the night skies. The main characters belong to the royal family of the city, the Queen Casilda, Camilla, Ord, Thali, Aldones, and Alar. And most of the play deals with their squabbles over the line of succession to the throne of Ithil. During one such squabble, the royal folk hear of a stranger in a pallid mask, who openly wears the abhorred yellow sign and who, carried by winged demons, recently arrived in the city. Coinciding with the stranger's arrival are visions of an illusionary ghost city on the opposite shore of the lake Hali, a city whose uppermost towers appear to be obscured by one of the planet's 2 moons. The queen and her children summon the stranger before them, and their haughty questioning of the masked being elicits much confusion, allegory, but few coherent answers. He claims to be an emissary of the dreaded mythical entity called the King in Yellow, or Last King. Later, at a masked ball honoring the royal family, everyone unmasks except the stranger, who reveals that his pallid mask is no mask at all. The offended queen and her high priest Not Albano imprison and torture the pallid mask, who also calls himself the Phantom of Truth, to no avail. As the pallid mask dies, the true King in Yellow arrives from across the lake of Hali. Those who aren't immediately driven mad with fear notice that the dead city across the lake is no longer there. The hoary, tattered Yellow King informs them that only one city now exists on the shores of Hali, and that this city is Carcosa, once known as Itil. The play ends with the King in Yellow having settled the problem of succession, and with everyone fearfully awaiting their imminent demise. Paradoxically, Hastur is referred to separately as a character and as a place. And then there's a quote from the play. Along the shore the cloud waves break, the twin suns sink behind the lake, the shadows lengthen in Carcosa. Strange is the night where black stars rise and stranger moons circle through the skies, but stranger still is lost Carcosa. Songs that the Hayadis shall sing, where flap the tatters of the king, must die unheard in dim Carcosa. Song of my soul, my voice is dead, die though unsung as tears unshed, shall dry and die in lost Carcosa. Essentially, that is what Casilda sang, only I had to translate from the German. I didn't know that there was an English translation somewhere else. But you get the gist, it's the same song.
And we have Casilda again as name, which is not good.
And Notalba. So that's what you find. Please make a sanity check.
Oh, I'm fine. I rolled a 28.
And at 21, she's also fine. However, you can now increase your Cthulhu mythos by 10 percentage points.
Cthulhu mythos, where are you? There. By 10%, Kai. That's never a good thing.
Well, I mean, you learned something very important just now, because welcome to probably, in my opinion, the most intriguing of all of the mythos, the King in Yellow.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I'm curious what you will, or already what you did with it, and I'm curious how it will go on. So, for Alice, this is new. She never heard of that. She would also note down which theater, because I'm quite sure there would be a note which theater in New York.
There is. It was an off-Broadway production, but not off Broadway.
Yeah.
So, but it was an off-Broadway production, but the theater still exists. So you've heard of it.
She just noted down. She's still unsure, because I think with the talk she had with William yesterday, she is trying back to get a focus of your actual job is to find Penelope. Because she kind of got lost in all the other drama happening, because we didn't find a single hint that he took her or he did anything with her. But
you mean Albus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still the question is where she is and where he is. And yeah, I think we would sit quite a bit in the library.
Yes, this is going to take you the better part of the morning. So it's now well after 1 o'clock, because this wasn't easy to find.
The question is, Dottie, do we want to take a break for today, go out for lunch, and then visit Madame Lavant? We can look for the Italian painters another day.
Sure.
I think after all we found, this needs to sink in, because weirdly we are getting puzzle pieces that fit but made the picture even weirder and weirder with everything we find out.
Yeah.
So we would go out for lunch, probably to our lovely Italian place.
Vittorio's.
And then we would take a cab to go to Maman Lavant store and hope she's still there.
You take a cab. You drive to the Bronx. Le Petit Jésus is there. It's thriving. You can see somebody coming out. You see Maxime standing in the doorway, waving goodbye to the patron who has just left.
Oh God, when she sees us, she will not be happy.
Let's see. You get out of the cab.
Yes, I will get out of the cab and ask the cab to wait.
She sees you at 71. She doesn't really look happy. She inclines her head and she says, Miss Baker, Miss Williams. And she really shoots a daggery look at Dottie. She has not forgiven Dottie.
Good day. Is Maman Lavant in and would have time for a few minutes to talk?
She looks you up and down and she says, I'm sure if I do not let you in, she will have words. Please step inside.
We will try not to make too much of an excitement. Thank you.
You step inside. The place is just like you remember it. It hasn't changed at all. And she speaks in French and she says, and she announces that you and Dottie are here and would like to talk to her. And you hear the old but still vigorous voice of Maman Lavant answering in French, and you know enough French to understand what she's saying, that she's delighted and that she would like to ask her niece to make coffee and to but first to show you to the seating area. So you step inside. Maxime shows you to the seating area, which is still where it was. You sit down. Maxime excuses herself to make coffee, and we will leave it there.
Yeah, that's a good timing.
And then
it's nice to see she's still there. I was like, and you come there and the store is not existent anymore. So what?
And in 2 weeks we will continue here. This is taking an interesting twist because I didn't even think that one could ask her, but I really like how we're really meshing all of this together. This cosmos that we have created.
With possessions, I think she is the best contact Alice ever had.
And we would like to thank you all for joining and listening and watching. And we will speak to you again in 2 weeks' time.
Yes. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.